Okay, so here is my final presentation for our mentoring class. I think that this class was just wonderful. It taught me a lot about myself and the person that I am and the person that I want to become, as well as just some things about mentoring that I really enjoy and some things about mentoring that are hard that I maybe have not realized before. I learned a lot just about people, and like we said in the personality tests and things like that, which I'll kind of go over in the presentation. But yeah, so I think that this was just an overall, just really beneficial class, just for me as a professional, and showed a lot of professional development on my end. At least an awareness of it. So just to start off, some of the goals that I had, or we had going in, we set these up together at our first meeting. The peer mentor sought out a relationship with me, and so since I am a distance learner, we met through Skype each time, and we communicated a lot through email, catching up of, hey, how was this? Did you do well with this? And how has that conference been? How has this class been? What have you been learning? Those types of things, as well as texting. Back and forth as well. So we met to set up our goals, and those goals being one, to work on retention with her. She wanted to work on her consecutive interpreting, and one was to be able to retain information. We started off with a minute, but we realized as going through that process that it was a lot harder to do. So we changed it to 30 to 45-second segments. We figured that's about how long it takes for someone to complete a thought or to complete a phrase. So we changed that to 30 to 45 seconds. So my responsibility in that was really just providing opportunities for her to retain information and to give her practice tools and websites and different things like that. I didn't want to hand tons to her, but I felt like I really was with, hey, you should check this out, or you haven't done this, you should do this type of ordeal with that part. And then the second one was to have a journal of words, and it was 200 words by the end of the semester, and she is really close to that goal, and hopefully by the end of this week it will be 100% done. I think she's got like 10 more words or something to put on there. So the goal for that was, so she wanted to work on her vocabulary expansion and knowing which consumers and customers to work with, and how to be at a certain level that they're at. So when someone may have said cat, having the word feline in there with the synonyms and antonyms, or maybe the word story, and having maybe anthology in there, or something along those lines, to where her vocabulary is expanded so that she can represent the client's language level at the appropriate level. And so my role with that was really just to remind her to keep up on it, and to provide just assistance with adding to the list, adding extra words to it, or suggestions for those word choices. She didn't really enjoy this assignment, only because I think that it had to do with just like a tedious job, a tedious kind of thing that she couldn't, that she didn't really want to do. And I think it was Erica that said that she remembers doing that in college and being like, this is the dumbest thing. And I remember doing it in college, and I still have mine in a bookshelf right over there, to where I still keep it and I still have it up to date with words that I'm always learning. I have one going on my phone of like, oh shoot, what is that word? Or even like, I need to know a more extensive vocabulary on that specific word, or even the sign too, like signing something, so saying something and then knowing multiple signs for it that will best explain it and best match what the client or consumer is saying. And then the third one was she wanted to recognize more ASL. She saw that she was doing lots of English signs, and she wanted to be able to understand meanings of words and work with the ASL meaning. And so with that, our goal was to sign 2 songs. However, she said that she was really busy and overwhelmed with things, so we dropped that down to just 1 song as opposed to 2. And so yeah, that was good. And with my role in that, it was to help with the glossing of the song, to provide resources of how do you even sign a song, maybe provide really good people who sign in really good ASL. On YouTube, I saw a ton of them, and then I saw some really lousy ones too. So showing her, hey, this is an English one, and this is a like pidgin one, and then this is a like a very ASL visual one. That's what I gave her, and she was able to look through with that. So just in reflection, I think that this process was really good. Like I said before, I learned a lot about myself and about others and what the role of a mentee is, and what the role of a mentor is in this peer mentoring relationship. And the relationship started off really well, and the mentee that I was working with, she was always kind, always eager to jump in and do what I had asked her to do. But then about a third of the way through, I started noticing that she was kind of slacking off on some things and some places, and making excuses for just the things that she had going on of, oh, I'm really busy, I can't do that. And so like I said, I lowered the songs, and I reassured her that I'd be working alongside of her the whole time and there to support her and answer any questions. And she also was late to a few meetings, and that was really hard because it showed me a lot of lack of responsibility, which is also maturity. And I think that was just really frustrating for me, because I took the time out of my busy schedule to do things. You know, I work full-time, I'm in school full-time, and I volunteer 20 hours a week, and so that is a lot to do. And you know, when someone says, oh, I'm really busy, it's kind of frustrating, because I am as well, so is everyone else. But we make time for things that we value, and if she values her education and the things that she wants to keep learning, then that's going to be something that she makes time for. But like I said, like any time we would meet, it was always so beneficial, and she worked really hard. I saw a lot of improvement in her ASL format and the awareness of it. Starting off, it was very English, and she also swayed a ton. And the way that she became more aware of why do we sign ASL, and why is it good that we know both English and ASL, and that we know them well, so that we can go back and forth for our clients and consumers. So that was something that was really cool and really huge. I saw her go away from the word to just an expressive like segment or sentence or something. In the first assignment that we had, she was really working on those concepts. I gave her like a kid president video, and boy does he talk fast, and so she went over that, and you could see the way that her wheels were turning, and we were talking through ASL concepts and what the value is in that, and how she can best represent her client and consumer by the way she signs and speaks. I think that providing things and tools and resources for her was just really my role in that part, and just being there to listen and to talk through some struggles that maybe she had been dealing with or whatnot. So let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. I always have a really hard time with finding strengths, but I think that I'm a loyal person. I stay on top of things because I'm pretty organized, and so that always really helps with a relationship. And also, I've had mentoring experience before. I've had experience not with interpreting or professional mentoring, but more of like a personal mentoring. That's what I practically do with the time that I volunteer. Yeah, which this made me excited and ready because I felt prepared and somewhat experienced. However, with that type of mentoring, it was more of a teacher role than a peer role, so figuring out what the best way to do those things was challenging. Yeah, also I feel like I can give good suggestions and really point advice into the right direction, and sometimes I wish I would have known that going into the profession. Some of the things that I really wish I would have known going into ASL and whatnot. Some of my weaknesses: I'm not very firm. I notice that I'm not very firm when it comes to, I just forgive too much, and I think sometimes people can take advantage of that. And when it comes to assignments being turned in, or when she would show up late, I would always just be like, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But I think that's rude when people don't treat you appropriately with respect. But I don't know how to relay that type of information in a situation like this. Another weakness was that I've only had 2 years of interpreting experience, and so sometimes I felt unqualified with my mentoring role. And then also, like I said a little bit before, I feel like I was more of a friend, mentor figure than understanding really what the role of a mentor is. We did talk through life and struggles of interpreting, and I did point her through 2 directions that needed to be pointed to, but it's all within the role that you mentor in and what you need to look for. So the value of mentoring relationships, I think that I've learned that there's huge value in it. You learn as the mentee and the mentor about the relationship process, and I've learned how to ask specific questions that will guide a conversation, which I think will benefit me in the future, especially if I continue on in a peer mentoring relationship. Just like any relationship, there's going to be struggle, and it takes work and conversations and working through struggle together. And when someone learns that they're going to be able to work towards something that they want, and then I've learned that the standards that I have are high, like my own standards, and my maturity level is pretty high for a 23-year-old. Like I said before, I juggle a full-time job, and I really hate hearing, oh, I'm just really busy right now. And so that really frustrates me. I get that we're all busy, and we will learn throughout the process, and I think that she will learn with experience that we cannot make excuses like that, or else we won't be getting jobs or be well liked in the community. I understand that things are busy. I get that. So taking on more than you can chew is hard. I also have learned that I don't like conflict. When my mentee was fickle to me, I just don't like it. I would rather brush it under the rug and say, it's okay, no big deal, and brush it under the rug. But I think that somebody will say something to her eventually that says, hey, not anymore. And I, like I said before, I don't really know how that was my role in the mentoring process. Let's see. But like I said, every time we would meet, it was great. It was beneficial and awesome, intentional conversation. I feel like she had learned a lot. Getting the SurveyMonkey survey back will be interesting to see exactly what she had learned, and figuring out things that she enjoyed and things that she may have had a hard time with. With that being said, I'm not sure how the mentoring process will continue. I'd like to see her still be in one, and we talked this last time that it would be just a huge benefit. I know that she's going to be busy, and she's already expressed that with moving away, it will be hard to meet with me. But she was saying that I was just encouraging her to keep meeting with somebody, to keep meeting, and to be asking questions, and to stay humble in that, and because I think it's so worth it. Like I would love to be that person to see her go through that, but I think that it would be better if it was somebody else. I just see such a benefit in a peer mentoring relationship, and to the extent that it works with the mentee and the mentor, and it then in return blesses or benefits the community around you. So I see professional development in it as well. There's a huge value of professional development, and I think it's something that we don't do enough as a profession. I think that or maybe we don't recognize that there's plenty out there. I think that there are a lot of different professional development things that we can do, maybe not always for CEUs, but I think things like educational settings, or freelance, or VRS, or anything for educators if you're in a educational setting interpreting, things through RID, things through local schools or colleges, or just put on by the community, things through RID or conferences, or you know how we took the personality test and things like that. If there's something having to do with multiple personalities, or figuring out who you really are, an internal class, I think that that's huge, and that is a way of professional development. And I think that being a peer mentor is a great way to learn about yourself and about professional development as well. Like I said, even though it may not always count towards the CEU, it is a huge benefit for the mentee and the mentor to be in a peer mentoring relationship. And I think that we don't take advantage of the things that are around us as best as possible. So, like I said, I truly enjoyed this class. It was such a benefit for me to learn about myself and things that I enjoy and things that I have a hard time with. And now I can work on those and apply them to who I am, and apply them to my continuing education and personal and professional development. So just thanks for this class, Tara, and I just appreciate all your hard work that you put in, and yeah, have a great summer too.